I'm excited to talk about your journey. I'm excited to talk about this gorgeous, important book that you recently just put out. And so, and also because the show is about women in search of a more fulfilling destiny, I would love to talk a tiny little bit about how this girl working in a shop in Albany found her way into every...
No, I was a dishwasher. My first job was a dishwasher, a dish machine operator, a DMO. And then I became what I thought was a luxury job, a fountain girl. But then I discovered that I was too short to jump into the bottom of the ice cream chest without getting the runoff from cleaning the all the different sizes of scoops that you needed to make the drinks and cones and shakes. I had to jump into the chest to dig down to it. So actually, the more embarrassing job than being the dish machine operator was actually becoming the fountain girl, because I had this stripe of melted ice cream across my boobs every day, and it looked like I was always lactating, like feeding weird rainbow farm animals or something. It just was horrible. I had this horrible, disgusting stripe of rainbow, like dairy mess across my boobs.
Unbelievable. It really is unbelievable.
It really was really bad. It was really bad. The girl with the ice cream boobs is what I wrote about in 50, the book before this. This book was just about, look, man, I'm 53 years old, and it's the first time in my life everybody had the same shit experience at the same time.
Yeah.
Everyone lost a job, a loved one, an animal, something. Everyone had to pivot. Every single person on the planet Earth went through the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to write about that. The first thing we lost was our privacy. I had to fulfill last season, 2020 shows, and I had no place to do it. We didn't have a studio anymore. So I crossed the privacy line. Then our dog died after 15 and a half years. We lost Isabeau. Then our house burned into the ground, 100% loss by Chubb, our insurers. Thank you, Chubb. You're a great group of insurance people. Our house burned into the ground on August 9th, and we moved into what we didn't even have 2 years ago. By some weird twist of fate, we had a guest house. We never planned on having a guest house.
Oh my God.
We moved into it 2 years ago, and we've made over 200 television shows from it. My husband is not a filmmaker, a television person at all. His parents forced him to become a lawyer. He got into Berklee School of Music. All John wants to be is a musician. He has 2 bands, The Cringe and Fastest Land Animal, and they're amazing. And that's all he ever wanted to do in life. He absolutely 10,000% never wanted to work or be in television at any time or shape or form. And we've done hundreds and hundreds of episodes now from here with just us. No one. There's no one here. It's myself and John. That's it.
Oh my God.
We just went back to a hybrid thing with the studio, but we only spent about 3.5 weeks there. And then we came back here. And that's it. It's just us. This is it.
It's unbelievable, honestly. All parts of that story. The first part of the story where you're working with the rainbow boobs because everybody knows you as the most, unbelievable person who's been acclaimed with all this success, and to think of you as actually having a starting place like that is hard to fathom. The fact that you went through such a devastating loss is just, it's so hard to even listen to, and not everybody's house burned to the ground. That's a very significant thing. And then that you were able to be so resilient and deal with the pain of losing all that you lost and still show up and make hundreds of shows. Oh my God.
I write about this in the book. I write about this, and this must be the place. And I talk about this often. We are embarrassed that we had the grace that we had with the loss of our beloved Isabu after almost 16 years. We're embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
Because so many people lost human beings.
It's true.
All over the world. Hundreds of thousands of human beings could not hold the hand of the person they love the most or that mattered the most to them on the planet. They just want to be together. Italy, listening, my grandpa is one of 14 from Italy. My mother's a first generation American, the firstborn of 10. To think of Italy, the seat of the Catholic Church, okay? The seat of it. And all of these people crying and singing into the sky and not being able to touch their loved ones or send them off with honor, with grace. So we had this beautiful time with Isabu. She died of cancer. It started in her jaw and it went throughout her body. And she was on human drugs and dog drugs. She had a beautiful last day. The sun was shining. John played, of all the instruments, my husband plays 10 instruments. Of all the instruments my husband plays, her favorite was the banjo. John played her the banjo all morning. She had a blanket on her shoulder and she was in my arms when she passed away. And I knew the second she left, I felt it. I felt her go through my body. I felt it.
Yeah.
And immediately after the grace of that moment and being able to be with her for that and keeping her feeling safe and knowing that she was loved, I talked into her, right into her ear. I said how much she had brought to our lives, how much everyone loves her. I got to do that. The second she went through me, the next thought I had was, I can't believe how many people can't do this.
Yeah.
How many people are suffering and can't do this for their loved ones.
Yeah. Awful.
And we felt so greedy and so grateful at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the things I wanted to write about. It's the only time in 53 years everyone on this planet
Right. Could
has
relate.
been forced to go through this together, whether it's people or animals or jobs or time or just your life. Everyone's everything changed.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share that there is no celebrity to that. There is no moment to that or buying yourself out of that.
Right.
Getting out of that. And if people tell you there is, they're lying. We all shared this. And so why don't we just stop hating on each other? just come back together, man. We are all one. We are all one, period. We have to come back together and get on the same page. You know, it's
Totally.
been a really hard year and everybody lost something. And that's all I wanted to say. I just want everybody to come back together. I try and use food to do it. My husband tries to use music to do it. Some people try and use their politics to do it. Some people try and use the way they write a story to do it. But we all need to come back together and just knock it off. It's the game, the jig is up. We need to be together right now. It's more important than ever. The planet is sick. We are sick. Everybody is suffering. We got to get it together, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I did this.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And it's so rare that somebody comes on here and just shares their heart so fully like you just did.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's so
Hi, man.
I mean, it's so obvious how genuine you are, Rachael, and that's a very rare thing in this world. That's really, really incredibly special. And you're right. I mean, it's the ego that creates this illusion of separation when really all there really is that one,
separation.
that oneness.
We are one species, man.
Yeah. Because there's only one side, which is love. Like that's all that is, right? We all want the same thing. We want us to be safe. We want other people to be loved and safe. It's like
And
we're
we
really on the
want to
same
love
side.
Each other.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this book is a lot about, okay, there's some food and recipes and how life changed during it. But I was just trying to write down how life changed for us. How when you think you're sharing everything with everyone, sometimes you're not. You know, I was wearing other people's clothes. I was working in a studio. I was wearing kooky makeup. I was doing different, it wasn't as transparent as it could be, is what I learned. And once I got over the fear of letting people into my life, wow, was that beautiful.
Wow.
The way people connected with us was so much more intense and so much more beautiful. Transparency is a really good thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing for politics. I think it's a good thing for people that work in television or art or finance or fashion. Just be honest. Just tell people the truth. Because what I've learned is they share that back with you.
That's right. Yeah.
They share it back with you. And they're big with it. They're big and bold with the love. When you are bold enough to be complete with people, they are bold enough to bring it back.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe if we were just transparent with each other, we would stop hating each other and start loving each other. I really mean that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I mean it with my whole heart. I just think stop hating and just talk to each other and you'll be fine. Everybody's going to be fine. If you can just get past that stepstone of the hate stone.
Yeah.
Just get over the hate stone. Just try and be open for 1 second.
Yeah.
Just
open
try
heart.
and be open with each other. Just try and fill your heart with love instead of question for 1 minute. And you'll be there. You'll be there.
Yeah.
You'll be there in an instant.
It's so
promise
true.
you. It's happened to me. It's absolutely the truth of my life. I've lived it and I know it's real. It's not fake.
Oh, it's totally real. I think that that's actually the gift that you've been giving since you've been in this world is you have such a ability to drop in to something that has intimacy that is real and vulnerable. And that's what everybody has seen in you. It's like, this is an open heart. This is what it looks like when you just show up. And you're right. When you come to the table with that, you just immediately love one another. There's a quote by Mr. Rogers. He says, there's no one you couldn't love once you hear their story. And if we just would be willing to listen to one another with an open heart, we would figure it out instantly. And
you said it brilliantly. It's my favorite. I think it's my favorite documentary of the last.
Mine too.
Of the last 20 years of my life. I think it's my favorite documentary, watching the story of Mr. Rogers, his love of music, of human beings, of life itself, and just connecting us. He was so cool on every issue before it was cool.
Yes, that's true.
He knew about everything.
Yep.
Sexism, ageism,
racism,
feminism, everything. He was so with us before anybody got into any topic about anything. Mr. Rogers was already there for us. This beautiful, gorgeous man in a cardigan loved to play the piano and was so talented in so many ways. He was so gifted in so many ways. It is my absolute, I love that you brought that up. It is my absolute favorite documentary in the last 20 years of my life. I'm a really old lady, but
no, you're
thing
not.
Makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
Me so happy. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it was a religious experience for me to watch that movie. I saw it on my birthday, and you're right. What you're saying, and you're. I mean,
he was so ahead of his time. When
he was. Birthday? Oh, Rachel, you asked me that. June 19th. It came out like that week.
My mommy is July. She's a crab. She's a bit of a crab. She's a bit of a crab. She's a bit of a crab. But she's also like she was so into astrology.
Yeah.
She's the moon baby, she's the Cancer. A Cancer in a good way. Cancer,
yeah, I know. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And my husband and I are both Virgos, but John is really on the cusp. He's more Leo.
When's your birthday, Rachel?
He's a big freaking lion in my mind. I am the 25th of August.
Okay.
And so John kind of makes fun of it because it's sort of like the Christmas of August,
Yeah. It is the Christmas of August.
The Christmas of August.
You and I have a mutual friend, and I can, as you're sitting here talking, because I only know you the way that most people know you, which is in your most perfect everything, and seeing you with the just the full tilt boogie. Sherry, I can see why she fell in love with you. So Sherry Salata is a mutual friend of ours.
Oh, yay. Hi, and Sherry.
You remind me of her. Like, I could see why she just, like a magnet. I'm going to text her afterwards and be like, got it. Like, you guys are cut from the same cloth. And Sherry's been on the show a few times. And I know that we're like sort of jumping to something else, but my listeners, they all have big dreams, Rachel. They have big dreams and they want to put more good in the world. And I think one of the best ways for every person to be making their own political statement is to use their own hands to put their own gifts in the world. And so I want you to talk to us a little bit about your journey of being this girl who worked at Macy's, and then you were teaching cooking lessons.
Everybody can be Rachael Ray. Seriously, anybody can be Rachael Ray.
Stop.
I was a dishwasher, a fountain girl, a line cook, a back kitchen prep cook, a waitress, on and on and on. A long laundry list.
And what happened?
About 15 jobs before Macy's, okay?
Okay.
So everybody has to understand the first rule, if you're an American, is to be grateful for the job you have. Do it better than anyone else that's doing it. And it's a really big deal to be grateful for it.
So
it's
true.
a really big deal to be grateful for what you already have.
So true.
Here's why. When you become grateful of what you already have in life, you are fearless. Fearless as to what you can try next. Because the worst thing that can happen to you is to go back to where you just came from. The absolute most important thing I can share to anyone of any generation, any age, any time in their life, anything they want, is to be grateful for what you have. Because you can't go forward unless you love where you come from.
Oh my God.
It is impossible. It is impossible to try to move forward and be fearless. Cannot happen without being secure of where you just came from. If you do not have love and gratitude for the moment you're in, and you can show grace to that, you cannot envision yourself forward.
It's a gorgeous message. Gorgeous.
Then try freaking anything. Who cares? But my mother taught me this when I was so little. Close your eyes and say, can I see myself doing that thing?
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
And can I see myself doing that thing really well? Not just doing that thing, but can I do it well? And if you can close your eyes and hear it and see it in your own mind, inside yourself, not what other people tell you, what you tell you. If you can see yourself trying, then what's the risk?
Yeah.
You can only go back to your safe place, or you can only go forward to the thing you dream of that you decided you can do.
I love it.
So you have to do that. Just try. And everyone can do this now. You have YouTube, you have social media, you have everything. You have everything that I didn't have when I was a kid. I mean, this took me 35 years of my life to.
But is this what you saw? Did you see this when you closed your eyes?
Never.
What did you see?
This happened by accident. No, this happened by accident. I never wanted to be on television. I hate it. I hate being photographed. I hate being in front of people. I hate all of that kind of crap. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I just like talking to people and sharing with people.
Yeah.
I like serving people. I like being a waitress. I like being a waitress. I like serving people food. I like sharing with people. I like celebrating people with each other. I absolutely hate the celebrity part of it. I can't stand it. It makes
So how did that happen by accident? Tell everybody the story in case they've been sleeping under a big rock.
Well, it was a variety of things. I was working in a market and no one was buying the groceries. They were only buying the food I started making after my boss fired the chef and hired me just because she liked my food. Weird. So I started making the food for the prepared foods case, and I was already the buyer of the market. I only became the buyer of that market because I was mugged twice at gunpoint and beaten up pretty severely the second time which is why I moved back to upstate New York.
Oh my God.
I couldn't even get my job for a long time. I couldn't get my job for a long time because they only had one buyer, and I had to wait until she got married and moved to Canada before I got my job.
Oh my God.
This is too long of a story, man. It's just too long of a story. Anyway,
It's so good. It's so good. We're all sitting at the edges of our seats. Please. It's Christmas. The story is Christmas.
I was so paranoid about everything. And she told me, teach people your food. Everybody loves your food. So we were trying to sell more groceries one Christmas. We didn't have enough sales. And I started teaching a cooking class called 30-minute meals.
There it is.
In 3 hours, I would teach you 6 basic recipes that you could make in 5 different ways, so that by the end of 3 hours, you could leave knowing how to make a month of different meals if you gave us 3 hours.
Oh my God.
And that's how it started. And that became a local news segment. And then that became a Food Network show. And then that became a big Food Network show and another Food Network show and on and on.
Oh,
but that's how it started. And my friend Donna Carnevale, is one of my best friends and mentors and loves of my life to this moment in day. I talk to her all the time. She is the only person who has colored my hair in the last 2 years. She's a hairdresser in a town about an hour away from here. And she drives here, and I trade her dinner for hair color.
Yeah, you do.
She cuts John's hair.
That's a perfect trade.
He always tries to cut my hair, but I never want a haircut because all my hair fell off after the show ended and I came here and the fire and everything happened.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but all my hair just keeps breaking off and falling off.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm going bald. And
oh, God. You look
screaming at Donna. I'm always screaming at Donna, don't cut it, don't cut it.
I need it. Listen, Rachael Ray, so the story you just told, and of course most of us got to watch a big piece of that as you your star was rising and rising. But here's what I know is that in order for those things to happen, we have to have the ability to receive them happening. And so many times I talk to women who listen to this show and they don't feel that they can receive it because it's beyond their upper limit or whatever you want to call it. And you had the courage to say, all right, God, let's go. Next level. Let's go. How did you do that? You're from this small little town and you're like, okay, Oprah, okay, Food Net, okay, I'm on the cover of it. That's not a small thing.
Every single day you open your eyes, it is a blank piece of paper. Every single day you open your eyes, it's just like your favorite notebook or the first time you filled your favorite lunchbox. You get to fill that paper or that box with anything you want.
Wow.
You get to paint it with any colors you like. You're never dead until you're dead. Live while you're living. Take a bite out of life itself. Please, 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 no matter what you lose, people, and we lose people in many different ways. Some of them leave us before they're even physically gone. They leave us mentally. We lose stuff. The house burned down. We lose animals. Isabu died. We have loss. I have been mugged twice. I've gone through just as much as many people. But if you wake up and your eyes open every single day, is a clean piece of paper. And it's as brave and as big and as colorful as you can make it. It's anything you want to put on that piece of paper. Wow. That's what happens that day, is anything you want to put on it. It's a new piece of paper. It doesn't matter how old or young you are, what happened to you, or who hurt you. Stop thinking about yourself and what you lost. Think about everybody else in the world and what they lost more than you. Think about what you have instead of what you do not have. Think about what you have instead of what you do not have. That's the place you start. Not with what you have lost.
Right.
You gotta be grateful for what you can still do. If you're breathing, you can still do it. Whatever your it is. And your it can be anything. You always wanted to play the piano. You always wanted to speak Portuguese. I don't care what the it is. If you're breathing, your it is there. It is waiting for you. It is waiting for you as long as you're alive. I promise you, it's true. I've lived it. It's true. It's not a lie. It's the truth.
It's amazing.
I'm here and I'm telling you, it's real.
It's such an important, it maybe is the only lesson. It's such an important lesson, but there's something that comes up for every one of my listeners. I get this email, I get this letter, which is imposter syndrome. But I'm not Rachael Ray. That's easy for her to say. I'm not Sherry Slaughter. I'm not this other person. I'm not. What is it that you think that people need to get that they have permission to go and do something? They feel as though unless I have somebody tap me on the shoulder, give me a stamp of approval, how dare I start a podcast, start a cooking show, write a book? I'm not this person.
You have to find that. And that's something you find in your sleep. It's something you find when you're sleeping. Who talks to you when you're sleeping? Is it your grandpa, your grandma?
Aww.
Is it someone that doesn't even exist? Is it whatever the spirit is?
Yeah.
When you rest, even if it's only a couple hours. I mean, I never rest. I'm a terrible sleeper. But when I rest, I see my grandpa and I visit with him. And my Christmas last year, I had to put everybody's Christmas dinner on a bench. No one came to my house. I usually have 5 to 7 families. I put up 9 trees. I have my family and John's family. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. I put everybody's dinners in boxes on benches outside to be picked up and delivered. And it was just heartbreaking. I ate nothing that I cooked for anybody's Christmas dinner. Nothing. Not one thing. At midnight, I made spaghetti with a lot of anchovies because it reminded me of my grandpa. And my grandpa's always with me in my dreams, and he was my best friend when I was a very small girl. And in the middle of the night, it was seriously midnight on Christmas, I melted anchovies into oil. I added some garlic and chili flakes and spaghetti. And I sat in the dark with the Christmas lights on the back porch. And I just visited with him in my heart and mind and soul. And it was a beautiful Christmas. It was beautiful. You have to start with who you are and what it is you want to do. And whether you get to that in a dream or a midnight trip to your refrigerator, or when you're standing in the shower and hot water is pouring on your back, you just have to find what the legitimacy of that is for you. And then do it. But you have every social avenue to you on the planet, and you can do that. So stop making excuses for yourself. and just get to your headspace. Whether it comes to you in a dream or in a bowl of spaghetti or in the shower, just get to yourself and do it. Put it out there. Share it with people. Everyone, every single person from 10 to 110 can do that. I've seen it. I've lived it. I know it. You know it too. It's the truth.
Yeah.
So just stop making excuses and do it.
Rachel, you just took everyone to church. I just cried so much, and I'm so grateful for you and how genuinely you are connected to God.
Oh my God,
I mean,
I knocked my headphones off.
You are so an extension and a connection to God. You do it so fast, and that's what you just did, because people will come to me and say, I hear you, but what are the first 4 steps? I go, no, it's this part that she's talking about. When you have that connection, that soul connection, you just move, right? God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You go. Did you know the steps? Did Rachael Ray know the 15 steps you just said? Yeah. I don't know.
I have no idea. You just gotta do it. You gotta find it.
Oh my
God.
God.
You have to find it first. You have to find it first. You have to get that. You have to get to your God, your faith, your soul.
That's it.
Whatever your it is, whatever your center is, you absolutely 100% have to start there. 100%. You've got to find the it. What is your it? What is your message? What is your passion? What is you? You have to come to terms with that first. That is the absolute first step. 100%. Then after that, stop making excuses and just do it.
Stop making excuses. Oh my God, it's so good. And
Sorry, I cussed twice.
Oh, Rachel, no, it's fine. If you cuss a third time, I'll give you a whole bundle of prizes. You remind me again. I mentioned Sherry. Sherry was a manager at 7-Eleven before she worked for this show called The Oprah Show. It's just like you show up with a heart. What you just said about gratitude, the lessons. You're a walking heart with a lot of goodness in you, and it's so beautiful. This is why you were scooped up over and over again. And God said, shine a light on this girl because she speaks truth. And it's
I got to tell you, not just God, but God sent a lot of helpers, including Oprah and Sherry and you in this moment. I am so grateful for my life every day of it. And my mom, she was not given forgiveness by the Catholic Church when she divorced my dad. My mom and my dad had a very bad divorce. Yeah. And my mom was not forgiven by the Catholic Church. So my mom made a prayer for us when we have 3 kids in my mom's family. Myself, my sister Maria, and my brother Emmanuel, who's named for my grandpa. And my mom wrote a prayer for us when she got, I just don't even want to say it because I don't think she is. I don't think God ever excommunicated my mom.
No way.
But when she was excommunicated from the Catholic Church, my mom made a prayer for us. Instead of the Lord's Prayer, we could say her prayer at night. And my mom's prayer is this: good night, dear God. I love you, dear God. Please gift me with the knowledge and the courage to help others and to do good. God bless, help, protect, and forgive us all. That's my mama's prayer, and I've said it every night since I was a little girl, since my grandpa died, since I was a child. That's been my prayer every night and every minute by my dog while she was passing. in every end of my day. That's my mom's prayer.
It's so beautiful. And it is really such a testament to her that she wrote these words. And the truth is that love is not earned. And so if it's love, it's just given. And God's love is just given. You do not have to earn it. Your mom's picture is on his refrigerator. If he had a fridge, your mom's on it. And I am, when you talk about your mom and you talk about your grandfather, it's such a, I have this visceral experience of the palpable strength, the power of the goodness in these people. And it makes complete sense why you are who you are. And I don't know, honestly, really, like how you feel as much as you feel. And then, like you said, being a celebrity.
Oh God.
That's not those are
word.
Those like two things. Yeah, it is. It really is. It really is.
I hate it so much. I wrote about it more in 50 than this book, but I hate it so much and I'm so bad at it. Like they make me wear weird clothes and shoes and
you're like
those. One time I was standing and I told this to Meg when I met her finally, like years after this happened. But one time I was standing behind Meg Ryan and we were at a film festival and I had to give the next thing, right?
Yeah. And
I was wearing a low-cut dress and they had those boob things on you that go over your nipples for ladies. And I sweat so much, one of them fell off and it fell off the bottom of my dress. I threw my card on the floor so I could fake bend over and grab the thing for your boob on my hand. And then I held my hand over my chest the whole time.
Oh my God.
Because there was like 900 cameras in front of me and I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go out there with like
oh my God,
a boob hanging out, you know? I mean, it's just, I hate all that crap. I hate it so much. It's never who I wanted to be. That was an accident of plot. Oprah liked us and CBS liked us and Food Network, the Scripps family liked us. And they all became our partners and brought me to this place. But I never wanted to be a celebrity. It was never my path in life.
Yeah.
I'm just a waitress, you know, and I still think of myself like that. I like serving people. And I love our content when we serve people by showing them their neighbors and each other. That's my favorite. Of course, I love talking to a celebrity and someone who just won an Oscar like Julianne Moore, who I adore, and she's my neighbor. And I have fed her in my home and I love her. I love her desperately. I love her desperately. And she lives very close. That's someone who crosses that line. But that's 1 out of 1,000,000 for me. You know, we have 2,700 or something just of the daytime show. I don't even know anymore. I've lost track.
Oh my God.
It's a lot. And we've done hundreds just from here. But this celebrity stuff is wonderful. And when you fall in love with a certain celebrity, that's terrific. And if they match up to your mind's eye of that person, that's great. But what I really care about is people seeing each other as celebrities.
Oh, I love that line.
Each other as the real heroes and rock stars and first responders in life. The people that have pivoted and given and thought about what they were going to say to their neighbor or give to their neighbor or do for their neighbor. That's what I care about. Sharing those stories. Making celebrities out of your neighbors is more important to me than getting a celebrity in front of you that's going to be on 100 talk shows. And I love many of them. Gwyneth Paltrow, oh my God, there's so many of them that have been so loyal and sweet to our show. and Julianne Moore, Michael J. Fox, my number one, the most optimistic person on the planet,
beyond
my favorite guest of all time, without question, and the most optimistic person I've ever known in my existence as a human being. That is the most important person I ever met. Do you know that he sang to me in my ear the song that was playing, the Billy Vera song that was playing when he danced with the woman that became his wife and the mother of his children, Tracy Pollan. And Michael is, beyond. There are so many people, the Obamas, Michelle Obama, my God. I got to moderate Michelle Obama.
Not normal.
Twice. I got to moderate for her in Austin, Texas, and Denmark. What?
Crazy. It's crazy town.
Crazy town. I'm a dishwasher. And that's the point. I am a dishwasher.
That is the point.
And a waitress. Everyone can have this life. This is the beauty of being American and being trusting of each other instead of hating on each other. If you love one another, you'll find every opportunity there is. And if you love the work itself, you have to start with being grateful for work itself. When you're grateful for work itself and you're honest with your neighbors and loving and kind to the people standing on either side of you, opportunity will come to you. That is the beauty of being American. It is the beauty of being an American. It is the joy of it. And you can't forget that. I don't care how crappy the last 2 years were. Get over it. Snap out of it. It's over. Be good to each other. We're done. We're done. Be nice to each other. And everything good will come to you. I promise you. I promise you. I've lived it. It happens. If you trust your neighbor, if you treat them with love and kindness, if you work harder than anyone around you, and you're grateful for it, everything good will come to you. Just work hard and be kind and tell the truth. That's all.
So true. Everybody is often in this moment only thinking about how they can get to a different moment. But if they actually stood in this moment and said, hey, where could I be available to just show up here, right? Enjoy what's here. Right. Be grateful for what's here.
Just be grateful.
It's amazing what would happen. Just come to you immediately. And I love that line you just said. I want people to look at each other like celebrities. And we had Jenna Fisher here, and she was talking about the last episode of The Office.
Gosh, I love her. Isn't she the coolest?
So, all of you, the Midwestern girls, and she said, she at the last scene of The Office, she says, so I was wondering why we were making this documentary, and I realized it was because we were trying to find how much beauty is in ordinary things.
Yes.
And it's what you're saying. It's like,
that's exactly it. How much beauty there is in ordinary life. Your life is beautiful. Stop thinking it's for your vacation or your retirement or Saturday or Sunday. It's for every minute of your life. It's sitting there waiting for you. There's so much beauty in every minute of your day. You just have to look for it. That's all. You just have to ask for it and let it in. That's all.
Let it in. All right. So as we wrap up, you just have to tell us one thing, which is, in addition to all of this music, you made music today. You just made some music. So as we're leaving, though, tell us, you're doing this Facebook Watch show, and it looks like it's like so awesome. So do you want to tell anybody about where they can find that? Do you want to tell anybody about anything else so that they can follow up?
The Facebook thing is actually part of A&E, and it'll be like on A&E next year. And that's just when I was a little girl, everything my grandpa told me and recited to me at night. He didn't read it to me. He just told me stories. Was about his life in Italy as a child.
Yeah.
And about my mom's life. And as I said, my grandpa's one of 14, my mom's one of 10.
Oh my God.
All of my life, I'm 53, all of my life, all I ever wanted was a place, a piece of land in Italy that I could call a home or a second home or part of me, a place that I could go and feel like it was mine and not a hotel. Because when I was a little girl, those were my fairy tales. When my grandpa talked about sea turtles and his donkey Pepe, in Sicily, and the way my mom grew up, my grandpa would take them out of bed in the middle of the night to watch when you could still see the northern lights, when you could still see the sky show of the beautiful lights here in upstate New York. When they were children in Ticonderoga, a tree fell by the lake and my grandpa carved a seat for each of his children. He had a giant log that eventually had 10 holes in it for the butts of his children. I mean, that's so beautiful to me.
It is.
I can't stop thinking about it. And my whole life, I was obsessed with that. Isabeau was still alive. She went there 3 times. Isabeau was still alive 4.5 years ago when I first saw the property. So what I'm filming now for Facebook and what will be on A&E in the spring is the journey of that land and that
so special.
Coming to fruition, my life's dream. And the book is really the same thing. It's the journey of losing my house and 50 years of my notebooks and all of my husband's music charts. My husband plays 10 different instruments. To lose all of his music charts, he got into Berklee School of Music, but his parents said that they wouldn't pay for his education unless he had a real profession. So he went to law school. Not bad for me. He's my lawyer, so that worked out well for me financially. But I think John only wanted to be a musician. He plays 10 instruments, for goodness sake.
Oh my God.
But he lost every music chart he had ever written, every arrangement. We didn't have anything but the clothes on our back and flip-flops, and our rescue puppy, who was brand new. She'd come from 2 foster homes and a kill shelter in our rescue truck, and then her house burned down around her.
What a journey.
So the book is sort of that same type of journey in a different way.
Yeah.
The book is just sharing all of those feelings in a happy way. I don't want to bum people out. I always try and write about the positive. There's no point in attacking each other or talking about the negative in life.
Of course.
I always try and write in the positive. But these are a group of essays about how you get through when bad things happen, and just to find the gratitude again, just about that journey of finding gratitude. And I think food is the way I express it. Music is the way my husband expresses it. Everybody has a different language, but we can all share gratitude and love and gratefulness with each other and one another.
I love that you've used that word more than any other word, gratitude. I want to ask you just one more question, which is why food? Why is food a language for you that is so symbiotic with love and who you are?
Because my grandpa was very poor and he had 10 kids. He couldn't afford to feed them if he didn't grow everything.
Wow.
He was a stonemason by trade, but he cooked every night. He made all of the family's meals. My grandmother was the seamstress and the baker of the family. My grandfather, my nono, Emmanuel, he was the cook for the family. And my mother was his firstborn, so she was the one that helped him can everything. They had to produce everything. In other words,
yeah,
he didn't just like to cook. He had to produce the food. My mother earned a star and learned a tough lesson. Don't name the rabbits or the chickens.
I see.
I mean, you understand.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and my grandpa had walnuts, every vegetable. He grew everything, fruits, nuts, vegetables, and they had to can and preserve every single item. That's how they lived.
Wow.
And at Christmas, my grandfather illegally ran liquor that he made to neighbors in Canada so he could buy every child on the peninsula, not just his 10 children, but the 54 children that lived on the peninsula. He bought them all Christmas shoes by running liquor. And I am really proud of my grandpa for doing that. He was amazing. 54 pairs of good shoes in the winter is a lot. That's a lot. That's freaking cool.
Your smile right now, it's so bright. You can light up Times Square with your smile right now. Thank you so much for giving us all of this. It's so simple, it's so profound, and it's so real, and you're so good.
Thank you, my love. You know, it's such an honor to be a part of something that has a heart and a love to it. It's such a generous thing for you to give me some of your time.
Oh my God,
you
Rachael.
have so many crazy famous people on here, and I am this kook from upstate New York sitting in her living room who was asleep on her floor with sciatica.
You were asleep on your floor. This is a fact.
I wasn't really asleep, but I just collapsed actually after the third show. But it's such a generous thing of you to make time for us. Thank you.
Rachel, the humility knows no bounds. Knows no bounds. I love you. If everybody hadn't already been completely in love with you, they are in this moment, because you brought us all back to love, which is what we're all like, literally, that's what's flowing through each and every one of us.
That's all we want to do is love each other.
That's it. And it's so easy, right? When you listen to you can plug back into that centered place. I love what you said about that middle of the night place, wherever that is, come back to it.
Come back to yourself.
I love it.
Come back to yourself. Find your heart again. Be kind to each other. Love each other. That's all it's about. There's nothing else. You can't take anything else with you. You can only take the love.
Well, happy Christmas. Thank you for being so special. So you're literally one in a zillion. You're clearly, like, you have this platform and you've used it to pour through the speaker just the most honest, kind girl next door, which is, gosh, if everyone who had a platform did that, Rachael, wow, that'd be pretty unbelievable. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, my love.